Unfortunately, reality is coming to me now.
Diana Taurasi pretty much got humbled on national TV.
What will the league have in store for them when they get there?
Look, SVP, reality is coming.
Diana Taurasi calling back to her infamous "the reality is coming to me" talk. Reality is coming comment. I can't believe she started off with the reality is coming to me talk. And of course, the reality was that Clark was great in the WNBA.
The moment everybody been waiting for has happened, man.
Nobody expected Caitlyn Clark to unleash this level of candor. Not in a Zoom call, and definitely not with WNBA heavyweights Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi on the other end. But that's exactly what happened, and the basketball world hasn't stopped buzzing since. From rumored locker room drama to her back and forth with Diana, Caitlyn spilled it all in a way that left even two living legends nodding in surprise. So why is this interview such a big deal? Because just 1 year ago, Diana Taurasi stared straight into a camera and challenged Caitlyn with 4 little words: reality is coming. People assumed that spelled doom for the college star who was on her way to the pros. But today it looks like the tables have completely turned. The best part? Caitlyn's response was almost too cool. No big speech, no dramatic comeback, and just a quiet smirk. That's when the real fireworks started. Before we dive into every jaw-dropping detail, here's a taste of what Caitlyn dropped. She confronted the rumors Sheryl Swoop sparked about the Fever locker room being toxic, and her answer might shock you. She revealed how it really felt to step on the court against Sue and Diana, two women she's admired for years, and why that first matchup in Phoenix practically ignited an entire arena. She called out UConn's legendary coach, Gino Auriemma, for his relentless defensive strategies, and admitted Paige Buchers might just be the scariest new threat in the league. Sound like a lot? That's only scratching the surface. Believe me, we've got receipts and you won't want to miss a single one. What really stood out and warmed everyone's hearts was how naturally Caitlyn held her own in the conversation. Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi didn't just welcome her, they embraced her with genuine warmth. They joked with her, teased her like an old friend, but always with admiration in their voices. And Caitlyn? She responded with poise, confidence, and just the right touch of humility. She didn't need to defend herself. She was simply herself, and that was more than enough. So are you ready to hear the full story straight from the source? Strap in, because the next part is where Caitlyn unveils the nitty-gritty on her evolving game, her beef with certain rumors, and the unexpected respect she's earned from players she once idolized. Let's dive in.
Please welcome to the show, Caitlyn Clark. Caitlyn, did you ever
What's
think
up,
you'd
guys?
be back? Cheers.
Excited to be
Cheers.
back. Don't worry. I got this nice throwback catering can.
Well played.
For Diana Taurasi, sharing the floor with Caitlyn Clark wasn't just another game. It felt like a passing of the torch. She described that first face-off in Phoenix like it was the final game ever played. The crowd, electric, and the moment bigger than basketball. Diana admitted it felt surreal to finally compete against someone she'd only watched dominate from afar.
What was it like for you two to play against each other?
It was amazing. You know, I've been following Caitlyn for so long and been watching her college career just in awe, and to be on the court and you know, the first game was in Phoenix, and it felt like the last game that was ever going to be played. There was such anticipation. The crowd was going crazy. All the people that came out to see Caitlyn and you know, our teams play against each other. It really was an amazing moment. And you talked about how, you know, if you could play against anyone that is this new generation. So I got to cross paths with Caitlyn, at least for a couple games. And to me, that meant a lot, you know? Like, we've been doing this for a long time. To see Caitlyn do what she does is, I think someone said the other day, I'm like, I want the season to start so I can watch you again.
Caitlyn remembered it too, but her version came with an edge. That game in Phoenix wasn't just a date on the schedule. It meant something. Her team had been down double digits and stormed all the way back to win. That comeback, it stuck with her. It wasn't just a win, it was a statement, and Caitlyn made sure to let that linger.
You were saying what it was like to play against D.
Well, I was saying, like, that game in Phoenix, because we only played in Phoenix one time. And it was before Olympic break. Obviously, we had All-Star there too, but it was a great game. Honestly, I'm pretty sure we were down like 10 or 15 and came all the way back and won. That was like our first like win versus a team that was above 500.
Beneath all the competitive fire, though, there was real respect. This wasn't just about a score. It was two eras meeting at center court. Diana and Caitlyn might be in different chapters of their careers, but in that moment, their mutual admiration was clear. The smiles, the jokes, it wasn't just talk. It was a rare kind of connection.
Caitlyn, how excited are you for this next WNBA season? New head coach and Stephanie White. You added Natasha Howard, who Sue knows really well, DeWanna Bonner, which I know really well, Sophie Cunningham. I mean, it seems like, you know, from the outside, this roster's ready to compete now, which is easy for us to say. We know there's a process to get there, but like when you see that and you see those names come in, what does that make you feel like?
Now, Caitlyn isn't just stepping into her second season, she's charging in, fully loaded. Talking about the Indiana Fever's new look roster, she could barely contain her excitement. With seasoned vets like Natasha Howard and DeWanna Bonner, sharp shooters like Sophie Cunningham, and gritty defenders like Sydney Colson and Brianna Turner, Caitlyn knows what she's got. And she knows the clock's ticking to make it all work.
Oh, well, I mean, obviously on paper we have a really good team, but you know, you only have, I mean, we start training camp, I think on the 27th, and then like we have a back-to-back of preseason games on May 3rd and May 4th. So it's like, you have a very short amount of time to put that together, and 7 new pieces, and whether we carry 11 or 12, like it's more than half of our roster. Like that's, you know, that's a hard thing within itself, but we should be pretty good. And like, I'm excited about it. I think what we needed was, you know, we added a lot more experience. Like in the playoffs, we just didn't have that. We were a young group. Even Kels, like obviously with being with the Fever through her entire career, she hasn't really had the opportunity to play in a ton of playoff games. So having that, whether it's Sydney Colson, whether it's DB, whether it's Natasha Howard, whoever it is, I think having that experience is going to be really good for us and that leadership in the locker room. So I'm excited.
But it's not just her basketball IQ that's leveled up. Physically, she's transformed too. When asked about that viral off-season photo, you know, the one with her arms looking absolutely jacked, Caitlyn couldn't help but laugh.
There was the viral picture that went around showing off your guns. Everyone's wondering, have you been hitting the weight room? Was it the camera angle? What happened there?
Like, how did you do that? I've been trying to do that for 20 years.
AI is getting out of control. Come on.
And then came the truth. She's been living in the weight room, not to pose for cameras, but to take over games. She broke it down, adding a floater, handling contact better, and getting dangerous in the mid-range. She's not just improving, she's evolving.
So what are you doing in the offseason working on your game?
You're trying to get stronger, like a lot of time in the weight room, and it's like something like I kind of enjoy, so it's been pretty easy for me to like spend time in there and really work on that part of my game. And you know, I think the biggest thing on the court is just like that mid-range area. Like I got pretty uncomfortable in there when I would get in there, whether that's like I didn't really have any floater. I didn't like taking a mid-range jump shot. So just getting more comfortable, like when I get my feet kind of into the paint, and honestly trying to just add a floater to my game, and, you know, finishing through contact and little things like that. But I think just going back to the weapons that we've added this year, like there's going to be so many different things that we're able to do that I think it'll be able to make my life a little bit easier, and it should make everybody's life a little bit easier on our team.
That kind of awareness, it's rare, especially in a player still so early in her pro career, but Caitlyn's already sounding like a seasoned vet. I kind of enjoy it, she said, talking about the grind. She's embracing the pressure, the leadership role, the expectations, and yeah, she remembers the noise Cheryl Swoops made about the Fever's locker room.
But in the Fever, we're like, y'all.
That's not my point. There's a lot of other shit going on that players are like, this ain't where I want to be.
Over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some
So
new
that's,
some new
yeah, like
shit's
it's
going
a
on
lot.
around there.
It's a lot. So you have players that are very significant on this Indiana Fever team that are like, I don't
want to be here.
This is where I want to be.
And Caitlyn finally responded. No deflection, no sugarcoating.
That whole week was like, Indiana, they don't get along, you know, all this. And I'm like, great. And then I'm like, this is the most together team I've ever seen.
Is that one of the hardest things for you as a pro now? Just seeing all the narratives like that one, that your team didn't get along, and just having to literally ignore it, deal with it, even though you know it's not true?
She shut it down completely. Not true, she said. Simple, direct, and exactly what fans had been waiting to hear.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something you kind of just become used to. It's like people think they know what's going on inside of your locker room, and they just don't. At the end of the day, it's just, you know, the girls that you have in there, and then obviously your coaching staff, and that's all that matters. And honestly, like, the best thing about last year is, like, we honestly had so much fun together. Yeah, we lost our first 8 games or whatever, but, like, we wouldn't have won if we didn't have a tight-knit circle or a good locker room. And that's the reason we kind of turned everything around, is just we, like, needed some time. We were a young group, and, you know, we figured it out. But yeah, it was really fun, honestly.
She also opened up about her ongoing battles with UConn, and it was clear those memories are burned in her brain. We played them 3 times, she recalled, pointing to clashes from the Phil Knight tourney to the Final Four. And each time, Gino Auriemma came prepared.
So when you play against a Coach Auriemma coached team, what kind of beast is that?
Well, I think they just are so disciplined. Like, that's just, they're going to do what they do. They're going to do it really well. And also, I think, like, for myself, facing his teams, like, they always had some of the best scouts against me. Like, you can tell how smart he is.
Yeah.
Like, he understands the game. He's coached against so many really good players. And, you know, there were games I would go into, and, like, the scouts were just like, it was just like, come on, like, why are you going under ball screens? Why are you in drop coverage? But, like, he just made it difficult. Like,
But her words weren't just praise. There was frustration, too. Gino's team had scouted her like no one else. They threw different defenders, tricky coverage, and relentless pressure at her. He always had something in his back pocket, Caitlyn said. Every game was a chess match.
Like, he would throw different defenders at me, and obviously having Nika Mule last year, like, she's probably one of the better defenders that I've faced. Like, she's just up in your grill. She'll pick you up 94 feet. Like, but then he just always has an answer, has different people. And I think that's one of the best things about him. Like, he has one game plan, but then he has something in his back pocket that he can go to. Yeah. And that's going to bother you again.
Caitlyn didn't stop there. She praised Paige's scoring, her smooth mid-range, and her versatility. She can run the point or play off the ball, Caitlyn added. And she's curious to see how that'll mesh with Arike Ogunbowale in Dallas.
When you watch Paige play and you see her in the next level, what are the things that obviously she's going to take to the WNBA and it's going to translate instantly? And what are the things that, you know, it takes you a couple games to get used to?
I think her poise, like, that's something you need coming into the W. It, like, all hits you so fast. Is like, you're moving to a new city, you're trying to understand new teammates, you have a new coach, while you're trying to live up to all these expectations. And I think that's, like, one of the greatest things about her game is just her poise and her maturity, and nothing ever seems to faze her.
Then the conversation took a turn into technical fouls. With Sue, Diana, and Caitlyn all in one room, things got hilarious fast.
I think she'll honestly fit right in. So maybe, and like,
so
that arena's fun to play in too. Like, it's a small place.
Yeah.
It's loud. You know, honestly, they should move every game to American Airlines, because I think Paige has that type of draw. Like, she'll be able to bring those type of fans in. I know we're playing there one of our games. Hopefully the other one gets moved too. We would appreciate that, Dallas Wings, if you can move the other one. But
I love this.
They traded stories like war veterans. Diana joked about getting tossed after picking up Tex in the first and third quarters. It was time to go home, she laughed.
Speaking of how much D loved refs and technicals and ejections, here's the time Diana got ejected and sent me this photo from the locker room.
Oh my gosh, got
tossed.
Got tossed.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, D, tell us.
Yeah,
what happened?
Sue, of course, played the perfect one. Hardly any texts. Cue the eye rolls. Then came Caitlyn's confession. I got 6, she said flatly. And here's the kicker. Half weren't even from arguing with refs.
I think I picked one up quick in the first quarter, which is you're always doomed when you pick up a quick one. And then I picked one up in the third quarter, and it was time to go home. So I took my ass to the back and chilled out, and my team got the win, and we went from there. But
How
I had to
many
make.
technicals did you get last year?
Say that again, Caitlyn.
How many technicals did you get last year?
So last year, I think the limit is 7 and
It's
you get
7, yeah.
suspended?
You got 6.
I got 6.
I leave that to you too.
But underneath all the laughs, there was something serious. Caitlyn knows what people expect. She knows the spotlight she's under. That's why she ended with a quiet promise to her coach. She'll play with fire, but she won't cross the line. Then they asked for a prediction over-under on her text this season. She said she promised only 2, and both Diana and Sue confidently took the over.
I got 2 for slapping the stanchion of the hoop, and then I got another one for accidentally hitting somebody in the eye. So half of mine weren't even like me getting to talk to the ref, which was dumb.
Yeah. I hate those side technicals. It's like, just look away. Why are you looking at me?
Act like you didn't
Just
see
go
it.
call the foul. No. What at me for?
As the interview wrapped, the energy never dipped. Diana poked fun at Caitlyn over the infamous WNBA All-Star setup game, calling it a trap for rookies. Caitlyn, sipping from her cup, just smiled and said, "I had a great time. It was one of those rare full-circle moments. Legends laughing with the league's rising star, sharing stories that remind you why we watch."
I got 6 too.
I had
But this
2
year,
my whole career.
Hey, you
This year
got
I'm
a couple
not.
too. I could see it. Yeah.
Oh wow, Sue, you're so perfect. That's good.
Okay, Caitlyn, over under technicals.
The
next
refs
year.
love me.
I'm going 4.5. Over
Caitlyn?
under.
Over.
Over 4.5.
Under.
I'm going over 2.
I already told.
No
I already
way.
told.
No
I already
way.
told Steph too. Nice.
2.
And it's more games.
Oh, it's
Well,
more
the
games.
thing is,
the odds
I
are
was
against
close-
you.
I was close to getting suspended for our last game, and like obviously every front office or your GM like tries to like get your technicals taken away, and they wouldn't take any of mine away.
And as Sue and Diana sent her off with a smile and a good luck wish, one thing was undeniable. Caitlyn Clark isn't just making headlines anymore. She is the headline.
Do you want to be like her or you want to be like me? This is your choice this year. This is your choice.
It's like the
I'll be in
angel
the
of the
middle.
devil.
I'll be in the middle. Don't worry.
In the middle. Thank you.
Perfect. All right, guys, I don't know if you saw, but this is turning into a little bit of a blowout. A little bit of a...
Oh my God.
We are going to take a look at some memories. Caitlyn versus Dee in the All-Star game in Phoenix. As Diana likes to call it, the ultimate.
That's the setup game.
It's a setup game.
Caitlyn, when you're on the next national team, don't play in that game. It's the ultimate setup.
It's a setup.
It's a setup.
You guys are all
None of
loose.
you guys.
You guys are all loose.
Smile. I'm just having fun.
I had a
want you
great
to have
time.
fun.
I had a great time.
Yeah,
I
look
had
at
my
Sue.
cup in my hand. I had a great time.
She's having the best
Sue
time
was,
ever.
Sue said
Caitlyn,
she was
thank you
rooting
so-
for the team WNBA.
I was on that side of the court.
I know.
In a Zoom room with 2 of the greatest to ever lace them up, Caitlyn didn't shrink. She didn't defer. She owned it. Smart, grounded, and with just enough fire to shake the system. She reminded everyone exactly why the future of women's basketball looks brighter than ever. If this interview was any preview of what's coming on the court and off, then buckle up. This ride's just getting started.